Wow. Well, greetings, gorgeous beings. So much coming through. And this could very well be a very momentous, I like to say a turn around the spiral, where the energies just accumulate and then we get kind of a big uptick. So I'm going to be tracking it all week, learning so much in every moment, really, really learning a lot while paying attention to tracking the experience and feeling and the illusion, shall we say, of uncertainty. And just acknowledging that as an emotion, as a feeling, going, oh, isn't that interesting? Being the observer. Marilyn's going, it's been intense. Yes, I would say there's been some intense moments. Um, and all is well as you just just like what? And then you just do your process, right? You all know what it is. It's ORDER. And if you have to throw an A in there, you can for absolve, meaning you have to forgive. But most of it is you go, interesting while I'm creating this movie. Very interesting. Wow. And what part of this movie is a circle around the spiral where a similar resonance has happened in, I point like that to history. Carlos Castaneda, you say your history is right in front of you because you're just going to keep running into it. So whatever way you want to sense and feel it, you go right ahead. But we run into it and then we have normal human reaction and then we do our ORDER. And then the most important thing, I believe, is once you've gotten through, whatever it is. And sometimes you have to find out, well, is it just meditating? Is it sharing kind of in a co-counseling kind of way? Just communication. This is what I experienced. This is what I felt. Is it going to nature? Jumping into the ocean, going for a hike, uh, you know, hugging, hugging, hugging your dog, um, any of those things that just get you back into the present moment. And then a very important thing I feel sense is that you find your way to get to your guidance. And so every morning I sit down and just because it was a full weekend, I knew that normally I'm out hiking with a friend. I'm like, nope, can't do that. I have to sit and be quiet. And I got a complete download from the Syrians, and they were very clarifying and reminded me that I have a kind of a long link with them through actually living, being, experiencing, remembering, and being trained by them. And also my first teacher, who was very, we were very kind of focused on planetary healing and working with the Buddha and the Christos energy, but started bringing through these constellatory frequencies to guide us on what to do for the planet. And so that alignment, which has just come through at various times, is strong for me right now. And you all are going to have your format of guidance. And how I like to feel about it is that we open ourselves up by saying, okay, now what? But the what is you maintaining your sovereignty. This is you, your I am, your presence, your observer, and the information that comes through. Some people, they're going to hear it. Some people are going to sense it. Some people are going to write it. Some people are going to know it. Some are going to, have seeing moments or have dreams. But I would say it's going to be important for all of us to really stay connected to our guidance with love, 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 right? And also like, okay, what? Tell me, what's this waveform about, you know? And I'm really reminded on this path that, it used to be we just went up. God. And even, back in the day where I was hanging out with some fairly galactic people, you know, very, very, we were probably the first, and they were walk-ins, and very interesting, very interesting time in the late 80s. But learning and maintaining, a sense of self and sovereignty, that in other words, we don't give ourselves over to any of the guidance. We become conductors for it, especially as we're working in this alliance. Okay. I'm going to talk about a couple more things and then we're going to kind of get into it. So I saw two movies this weekend. One was The Odyssey, and one was this movie called Living with Wolves. And The Odyssey, I cried during both of them. I just, and with The Odyssey, sometimes I had to do this, even with the wolves, because of certain things that I was hearing. And just to see how humanity can, on in the first film, can be, it's an amazing tale. I studied it in high school, I studied it as a kid. It's an amazing tale, The Odyssey, the story of Ulysses. And it's mythology, and it's about the gods and goddesses. And who knows if there weren't reflections of that. But really, he had one primary word that came forth, and that was uncertainty. And that his instigating that, the Trojan horse and the complete annihilation of that city, he just said, this is the beginning of that. So on the other hand, then, so you just really see this very externalized expression and have feelings about it. And then there was this film about the wolves and how, oh my God, if I cry, you'll understand why, because it was absolutely so beautiful and so heart-wrenching in a way. They are doing it. They are interconnected. They sense, as are the dolphins and the whales and many of the bird tribes. They're so interconnected, and they have tribe, and they have leader, and they have their protocols. And yet these two people observed on nonstop for 6 years the seasons of the wolves. Um, sorry, I'm laughing at myself. Just so touching and yet so tragic what the states in the US is planning on wiping out the wolves again. Yeah. Yeah, if you have any compassion, for those governmental agencies, this is where it will stop for me 100%. The Endangered Species Act has been annihilated, and it's time for us, if we want to see these tribes and the wolf tribes, they came in very strongly during this meeting with the Alliance because they're doing it already. They are living in a connectivity. And if you've ever had a dog that you loved, they all came from the wolves. How they end up being pugs and poodles, I cannot for the life of me understand. But there you go. So, um, thank you for because this is the other side. Okay, there's this, and then there's this, and this is emotions and depth reality and the feeling, oh my God, of the feminine. The feminine is meant to rise within us. Whether you're male or female, I'm thinking we females have a little edge over it. And I certainly have had to learn a lot about the feminine, having been a very, perhaps tipping a little bit more into the masculine balance for all that I needed to accomplish in my life. And now this just feels just more in tune with who I really am. And also just really knowing, sensing, feeling, being able to bring through sometimes the feeling of the great mother, who is by that word is feminine. And by some say this entire universe is perhaps more feminine than we realize. And, contained in the mystery, even in what, this universe is 70% dark matter. And so all of that is just something I wonder. It's all at this point until you know it in your body, it's a hmm, something to feel and sense. So, yes, guidance this way, but the guidance that comes through me this way is really encoded in love, really encoded in mm, connectivity and the desire to nurture and and to reach out to others and to be of service and to hold the all rather than command the all. And certainly, as we understand, this dream frequency that's being introduced to us through the dreamers and the Nawals of the planet, and then the galactics, coming in and saying, here's code to uh, to put some order into this and some grounding. But really, at the end of the day, it is when that great mother came in, I felt like this could be, this could be the nature of the new dream. And in a way, it's a return because many of the first civilizations, if I have mentioned, really understood and revered what they called the goddess. I'm not sure if they used that word, but it had a feminine divinity mark to it. And certainly, the early art really reflected that, as it did reflect these beings who came onto this planet who looked different or were tall or, it's in some cases rulers, etc. Thank you. I'm I just am going to be authentic about how I feel about all this. And if you have any really strong connection with wolves, as I do, www.livingwithwolves.org. I just went on there this morning and made a contribution. And I am going to write some letters. So, which I never do, but this warrants energy. The interesting thing is, in this presentation last night, it was focused on the West and how that is where they've been reintroduced to and have been allocated to wilderness areas. And I'm not even going to relate to you how they are, because it would be, go do the research. I'm not going to tell you how it's being handled in many states in the West that we call the West. Okay, so with that, blessed beings, we're going to initiate our connective quantum, our quantum crystalline um, contribution, experience, expression, um, participation in this weaving together that's happening. And I know all of you are feeling, sensing how, on one hand, things are going smoother, especially when you're centered in that. And then challenges come up, and they're there to teach you the next layer of lessening. And teaching is not even a good word. It's just having the experience and then shifting back into this presence that you are so learning to hold. It is so you. You're relaxing into your own self with a capital S. And it's a gift to you, it's a gift to the group, it's a gift to we'll say today the West and then ultimately to the planet. So we'll see what comes through. Okay. Mm. And the moment I said shift into your hearts, I heard that in my psyche, we'll say. There was the click in the room, like saying, this is so. And so, yes, beautiful beings, if in any way, this story moved you, let that emotion and that moving just draw you up into your heart with love, 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 love. And then we're going to go dot, dot, dot. Love, 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 love. Dot, dot, dot. And here's the moment where we're going to just extend our love out to the what we perceive as the earthly tribes. Mm, the four-leggeds, the four-leggeds, in all their manifestations. Domestic, wild, prey, or predators, all in the cycle, all in this current cycle. Hmm. And just allow your attention to reach out to them. If you've ever been with the elephants, and these are the ones I've been with up close, tigers and lions and mm, yes, mountain lions and coyotes and just all those the big ones, the big ones, and then the little ones, the moles and the voles and the and the gophers and our friends the rats and mice and all of that and the squirrels and the chippies and they run the earth. They run the earth, all of them, 4 feet on the ground. I'm going to ask you to reach out to them now with your quantum silence in your heart. Reach out to the ones that you feel drawn to reach out to with our love, 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 love. And yes, I'm going to say the word hope and commitment to bring forth a new version of Earth that is way more in balance and in harmony, in recognition of the balance of it all. Mm, just, move it out from you. Just move it out as a loving creature that you are. and include, of course, our domestics, the ones that we hold as our own in companionship, and the ones that we meet on the street. And there it is again. Love, 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 dot, dot, dot. Yes. Move it out. Just move it out. And we're moving this, beautiful people. We're moving this across the West. That's that's for us to do. We're moving it. And knowing that our moving it is going to move things along in the right direction into the hearts and the minds of those who could shut off their essential self to hate an animal. And we do include the domestic goats and sheep and cattle and horses, of course. Move that out. Move that out. That there's a way for all of them to be in the right balance. The job, a contribution. Yes. Move it out. Move it out. Move it out through the West. How much love can you feel here? Do it. And you know what? It's starting to come back to us. I feel it. Out and then back, and then out and back. Again, it becomes a sacred alliance. Receive, receive, receive their yes. Their yes. They are in yes. And in knowing, they are in knowing. They are in knowing. And then we move out to these other equally beyond us into the Pacific, where we will align with them this week on Thursday. We move out, into the alliance with the whales and the dolphins and their ability to be on the quantum. That's how they are. They're on the quantum. Sharks, orcas, sea lions, sea otters. These are the big ones. And the squids and all the lobs, the whole thing. Just move it out. Move it out. We're here. We can move it out that way. Just move it out. Love, 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 dot, dot, dot. And they're ready. They are ready. They are ready. and then we just open to the alliance with the winged ones, be they the avians or the butterflies or any of those flying creatures that grace our path. And many of them, they've been on this for a while. They've known. They've come and talked to me. Hmm. And they've asked, and we have said yes. And we have asked them, and they have said yes. And then any and all of what we call the creepy crawlies. Mm. And a great love for the reptilians that have settled here, and snakes in all form, and lizards in all form, and the horny toads, and all of them. And I give thanks to the ones who have allowed me to hold them and to be in alignment with them. And they are holding the earth sacred as their home, but as very ancient. Their roots go back way, way back. So they are ancient ones. And with all of this, then, all of this, we reach out to the last tribe, the human tribe, particularly those of predatory mind, where satisfaction comes from eliminating the life of something on this planet. And mm, this is something I struggle not to judge very, very heavily. And now we must just contemplate the aspect of this simulation, this patriarchal simulation, definitely illustrated by the film, The Odyssey, and by the presentation in another way about the wolves. And so we just now, what we're going to do, all of us, we are going to hold space and we are going to observe this with, mm, we're just going to observe it and pulse truthful possibility. Pulse, mm, we're going to pulse awareness that we see it for what it is. It's an installation of control. We're just going to pulse it for what it is. It's an installation of control. unnecessary predation for pleasure. It is definitely a base inclination or several. Observe, observe, pulse. Observe, observe, pulse. We are observing apparent hatred, and we are observing the configuration, the construct of predation for pleasure. One piece is broken off. Another piece. Another piece. And love, 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 dot, dot, dot. Love, 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 dot, dot, dot. The concentration of that predation construct is weakening right here, right now. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. And I'm saying yes to the divine feminine. Coming in and filling in that void, that void, that void. When you remove part of the construct, you got to fill it in, or something will jog back in. Love, 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 love. Love, 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 love. Now, in your own way, hold hands with them, the tribe. And we all just pause exactly where we are in this moment, aligned in intent, respect, appreciation for contribution made to the balance. And then we open our hands and we vibrate the frequency that is underlying and might be contributing to this. Oh, these heat domes and these excessive mm, manifestations. And we say, this doesn't have to be. Bringing things down just a notch. And we'll do this click by click to the best of our ability. And everything now is a yes. Mm. Mm. And then gather it in to your heart. Mm. And be that yes. Be that yes. Bring in the love reflected back to us from the tribes. The isness of them, the presence of them, the intent and willingness of them to be. In the upgrade. We want to call it that. And the shift, in the integration, in the bleed through, and however we're going to perceive this expression, one moment at a time. And because that is the definition of the Q, is right here, right now. Quantum is timeless. Okay, wow. I'm hearing the words radical journey. We just made a radical journey, and there's more to be trekked, if you will. Much appreciation is flowing to all of you for being so consistent. And I can feel the dedication in you. Oof. And of course, my prayer for you is that this unfolding path is giving you the rewards of more and more and more of you as the divine self. And we're just asked in this moment just to close our eyes one more time and receive the blessing that's just raining. It feels like it's raining, raining around us, into us. Hmm. And the West, apparently, as its own field, says, thank you. I just heard, thank you. Okay, beautiful beings, thank you for making again this journey for the West, for the planet, for all beings. And love, 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 love.